What's up, everybody? And real quick, before we get going, got to give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers. We're talking to Tony, Starla, Sam, Luke, Jacob, and Tyler. Thank you all so much for the continued support to the show. It really, it really does help pay for it because there's money that we have to spend on it, and you guys are helping us keep this thing running. So thank you guys so much for genuinely supporting our show. On this episode, guys, episode 141, we're talking with our good friend across the pond, as Luke says, Mr. Alex Lane, past guest. We are having him on again. We're going to catch up here in a minute. And yeah, no question of the week, though, this week. It's just going to be a straight, basically hangout, if you will, I guess, right? We're going to hang out with Alex here.
You got it.
We got it. So let's get it underway, huh? Here we go. We got to this one address. I said, this one goes around back. He went around back, drove off, left him right at the stop.
That was after getting hit by a car.
Wait, you got hit by a car?
I ended up drinking 24 Bud Lights in about 48 minutes. Drunken nomad stumbles out in the road and he hit me going 30 miles an hour.
God, that's a rough start for me. Holy shit, I just choked. Oh my God. That's the first time that's ever happened. Like I said, Alex, off the air, we are constantly growing.
Welcome.
What's up, everybody?
41, motherfuckers. Go ahead, Dave.
This is episode 141 of All in the Delivery, as I just choked. You know what it is? It's 9:20 a.m. over here, and Luke and I never record this early. So really? I'm all out of sorts right now.
There's been 3 times we have done it now, this being the third.
That's right.
But there's also a reason for that too. We have
A at the start.
Yeah, we have a pretty big time difference between. So when we've done this the 3 times.
Yeah, 20 past 2 here. So yeah.
And because of the time difference and the different continents, we've done it 3 times. And this is I feel like because you coughed, I feel like I'm doing the introduction here, and I didn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. Are you good?
You know what's happening, because it's 9:20 in the morning. I was chowing down a bowl of Fruit Loops, and I was trying to get it all down before the introduction had to start, and I choked. I'm going to be honest.
See, he's talking about continuing to grow, folks. Episode 141. And he's eating cereal before he's about to do an introduction.
I was chowing down during the intro music. I was
just brand new Fruit Loops to tell you that from there, because that Fruit Loops.
So let's try that again. Guys, thank you for joining us, huh? These voices you heard, we're going to have a good one today. Let me introduce to you guys my co-hosts all the way down in West by God, Virginia.
Fuck.
Luke, how are you, buddy?
Well, as I'm looking, I'm still in the same setup, but I am in the midst of the cables and the electric being redone now, and I've got some things plugged up. Low Tech Tommy is just using the simple methods of extension cords and doing some other things because I was afraid to move. But we're here. It is 9. It's morning time. I was drinking coffee, laughing because normally I would if I did that when we would normally record, I'd be up probably till like 4 a.m. But I'm doing good, man. It's the weekend. It was good. Got one more week till vacation, so yeah.
I'm
fine. Doing well.
Hell yeah. Same here. I think I mentioned that in the last episode, the little one we did, spur of the moment. Luke and I are actually on vacation the same week, and we didn't even plan that. Like, it's just so happened. Like, wait a second, you're off that week too? Oh, that's sweet. But
yeah, wild. 52 to 1 shot there. Well, I guess with vacation, but yeah, anyway.
Exactly. It was good. It's awesome. So we're looking forward to that coming up for us. Let's go across the pond, shall we? This guy, last time we had him on, he coined the term, "What's going on in America?" Like, that was the most funniest thing when he said that to Luke and I. And like, it's like over there, everybody's like, what's going on in America? What's going on in the U.S.? And I think we had Biden falling upstairs and stuff, going up to Air Force One.
It was after the election, and he said the press went dark over there. They didn't hear a thing. Nothing. They didn't hear a peep after the election. And over here, that was like right when he fell up, like tripped up the steps. So we had told him.
So it's been literally 4 years.
But it was because of that we had the idea where we were going to start, because at that point, that the whole time when we were recording, we were going to start plugging things in of stuff that happened recently, but I forget what we called that. We had a name for it, but anyways, that was how that got started. And so it was right. It was in COVID times, thick of it. But man, It's been, God, what a time. And here we are. Here we are 4 years later.
So yes, everybody, please welcome Alex Lane to the podcast. Again, Alex, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you both doing? Genuinely, I bet you're on the beach. Then you must be bent on the beach if you're both on vacation next weekend. You're going away together, aren't you?
No, we were. I mean, honestly, I don't even think. I mean, because we didn't plan it, and then when we both were talking about it one day, like the first vacation week, like when you haven't, we both said March, and then like. I was like, when's yours? And he was like, the week of the 17th. I was like, shit, dude, that's when mine is too.
Are you the same as us? Because over here, like, our holiday, it goes from April to April. And so I had 2 weeks left. Like, I literally took no holiday. I've got 2 weeks to use up. So my week off is actually not this week, but the following week. And then I've got, this must be the same as you then, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then
the
following first week of April.
Oh, no. Wait, hold on a minute. So you don't have a...
What did you mean? So you
said
mean
April
that
to April.
you're... Yeah, so you got
we have,
from
like,
April to April?
We've got holiday to use up that we have to use up so many days. But clearly I just love working
so
for the
you're
company
saying
so much.
it'll reset?
I had 10 days to use up, so I've not got next week but the week after.
Oh,
and then
I
I've
see what you're saying. All right, so it reset.
So, like,
okay.
Was that the same as you guys then? Are you April to April as well?
No, ours is December, the end of December. Ours resets at the beginning of January.
Basically January 1st,
yeah.
So I didn't know if he was like me, like I've got so many days to use up, so we're just going to use them up now. I've no idea what I'm going to freaking do. I didn't realise I loved the company so much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather work there than... It's like, Alex, I was literally the second most in the company. The other guy had 11, but I was 10. I was like, I didn't use any of them up. I've had 10 days to use up. That's crazy.
Damn.
Mine roll over at sick days here. If you don't use them, you have the option to roll them over till the next year. But personal days,
can you?
Yeah, sick days you can, but personal days you cannot. Like those, if you have those left over, they just pay you out for them at the end of the end of the year.
You can sell them back to them, can't you? If you wanted to. I remember during COVID, I didn't. Well, why would you take holiday during COVID? Like. Holiday was at that time was actually being at work because we could be at work and be out
leave your
house. So I remember I had pretty much my whole holiday left over when it comes to April, and I just sold it back. There's no point. What's the point of being off when you can't hang out with anyone? You're just going to sit at home bored like everybody else. So what the hell is the point? So yeah,
it's true.
But it's funny how like the difference. I would love. There's no way I'd be able to do it. But I would love to come to a UPS in America and just see how it's a different ball game over there. Because over here, like, it's like, I think I've said this before, I said this on the old one. During COVID, everyone was like doing like drawings of like, all like, thank you so much, postie, whatever. It was always Royal Mail. If you're a Royal Mail postman over here, that's like the holy grail. Like, you're respected. And all the little kids are drawing little Royal Mail people.
But for UPS,
like we're going there to the door because the couriers over here that we have us. You don't have DPD over there, do you?
No.
So
we have DHL.
Yeah, DPD, Yodel, Every, DHL, FedEx.
Yeah.
But it's Royal Mail. That's like the holy grail. But like, I remember when I was in New York once, and someone asked what I did, and I said I was a UPS driver, and they were like, "UPS driver? What the?" And it was like a thing. Like, it was cool. Like, I was like, "Oh, raw, like crazy." But like, no one cares over here that I'm a UPS driver at all. Like, I noticed that during COVID. I had to, unless you was a Royal Mail. Royal Mail.
So if you're not Royal Mail and you show up, they're like, oh, or like the kid, like the parents will send the kids out, be like, oh, never mind. They're like, oh shit, that sucks.
It's not a cool thing over here.
Oh,
man. It's just not a cool
That's wild.
Well,
I mean, yeah, I had quite a few of those on my route out there where people are like, thank you UPS, thank you FedEx, thank you Post Office, and like all that. That's wild. So like over there, it's just like Royal Mail, and you're like the top of the top for like everybody.
That's the king's mail.
That's
the king's mail, the Royal Mail. Like that's it. Like all the kids generally are doing drawings, and they go, "Thank you, Posty," and like they'll stick it on like the windows and stuff. I'm like, dude, where's the UPS drawing?
Yeah,
we got little kids
Show some
dressing
love for
up
the UPS guy.
we got kids dressing up as UPS drivers for Halloween and shit over here. And just...
I'm so glad for you. I'm so happy.
Even dogs are dressing up as the UPS guy.
Man. I've seen that with the little
yeah. With the little package swerving back.
We've got none of that over here. Like, jeez, man.
God.
But do you know what? I learned? Seriously. So there's a Polish guy. He left now, but he has family out in like in Florida actually. And an uncle of his was over there, and he looked into becoming a UPS driver over there. So what's actually interesting, and even say for example, I wanted to go to be a UPS driver. I was going to Nashville, whatever, do some songwriting stuff or whatever. But I was moving out then. I wanted to be a UPS driver in Nashville. It's what's crazy, and this is true because you looked it up. I cannot, as a driver, and I've been a UPS driver for nearly 7-8 years, whatever. I cannot go to UPS America. I could transfer there, but I won't be a driver. I would have to start at the bottom.
You would have to start at the bottom.
I would have to start at the bottom and like load the vans up and like work my way up towards the driver. That's crazy.
So that has to do with the union over here. So that has to do with Teamsters and all that, and the whole union thing. Like so. I think it was David Castro who we had on at UPS Maine on Instagram. He goes by that name, UPS Maine. He was saying that he's able to transfer to any building that's within his state. Within the state of Maine. And he's able to transfer to any building within the state of Maine, and he would keep his seniority. And for us, like it goes different by like different locals. For so like there's like I think there's like 5 different centers, 5 different UPS buildings that are in my local for the union. And for my local, I can only transfer to a different building within the local and then keep my seniority. I think that's how it works.
It's also, though, David...
Yeah, so it varies.
David Castro, but you're like, it probably is different for you because your state and population is a lot bigger than his, because New York to Maine population-wise and all that centers, there's probably not. I don't remember if I feel like I asked him this, but I can't remember if I did. But there can't be too many centers in Maine, But there's probably, what did you think? Like 5, 6, maybe?
No, there's got to be more than that.
I don't know, man. Maine, I'm just looking at the size of it. It's not a big state. I don't know. Not that their population is probably way higher. Like, I'm comparing them to my state, but my state's population is low as fuck. So it's not, it's probably not a good ideal. But yeah, there's probably more. You're right. Because now I'm thinking about how many we have here, and we have at least that many here. So yeah, but anyway, like here, if we...
there's only... It says, for reference, there's 13 UPS stores. There's 13 UPS locations, 13 UPS store locations in Maine.
Oh, shit.
So there's only 13 UPS store locations in Maine. So building-wise, there's got to be at least 13, you would think, one per store.
Well, let me ask you this, Alex. Do you guys still use manuals over there? You still drive standards still? Because that was always something. Shout out to Gary, the white van man, because I always he was the first. He always takes pictures and stuff, but he's a UK UPS driver as well. And I remember seeing in one of his pictures the standard transmission, which they have gotten rid of here for years now.
So your van's automatic?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I kind of miss it a little bit. I don't miss it.
Yeah.
I don't miss because they were loud as shit. Like they were loud. Like they were like the ones we had, and they were also old. But these things could go, man. I had ones that were like 500,000 miles and just beast, and they didn't have like they couldn't control. We call them governors here, to where they limit what you can drive, like the speed limit within
How
your
fast
vehicle.
it goes, yeah.
And normally most of them go up to 65, 70. Some of them old man. I guess I don't.
Maybe they didn't have a minimum.
They've been gone for a while, so I guess I could say is, with some of those could get up to 90 miles an hour on the highway. And I'm gonna say,
how do you know that? Allegedly.
That's what I said. They're gone now. I'll say that from experience. Some of them fucking things can fly.
No, dude, you would always start that bitch in like second gear. You would just skip over first. There's no reason to go to first gear like in those trucks. You just go straight to second and it'll still go on.
Who makes your trucks? Who's the manufacturer of your trucks?
There's a few different ones. There's like there's a company called Freightliner. I mean, we even have a couple Fords. Like my truck on my route is a Ford truck.
I don't
there's
know what
Iron
mine
Horse
is.
or no, the Workhorse. The Workhorse.
Yeah.
I think it's called a Workhorse. Is another one, but
we have Mercedes.
Damn.
And it got changed to.
you got AC in those things?
You're sorry?
I said, do you have AC in those things?
Yeah.
Heated seats, luxury. I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm sorry.
no.
I'm just.
Honestly, we had these things like the bigger trucks are called. I don't know what they're called over there. But they're called P80s over here.
Okay, yeah.
So the big trucks is called a P80,
Good.
and like the old Mercedes P80s, they were honestly so shit, but they were brilliant. So like you couldn't hear anything in them. It was so loud. The gear stick was like as long as anything, and but in the rain, they would drift, and it was amazing. It's come out, and it was massive steering wheel. But like what happened for some reason, there was like some. We've got Iveco's now. Do you know what that is? Do you have those in America? Iveco.
What is it called?
Iveco. You don't have them over there.
No, I don't believe. I haven't.
What is it?
Yeah, it's called an Iveco. It's another car manufacturer. It's a car manufacturer.
Not that I know of. We may, but
But like these Ivecos are terrible. They've got these big vans, these tiny like racing steering wheels. The handbrake is like a flicky little switch, and like the clutch is terrible. You can smell it all day. They're honestly terrible. But we've all got manuals. The only thing that is not manual, we've got we've still got some Mercedes vans, but we've got these like small P45 3.5 ton Mercedes P45s, and they're automatic, and they freaking go. Then they're not restricted. Those ones, they're not restricted. But yeah, but we've got these Ivecos taken over, man, and they're terrible. They're so floppy. The seats are terrible. The handbrake's terrible.
God.
It's not good. And then you look at over there, your trucks, and you've got these massive, there's like two windows there. It seems to be
huge.
cool to be a UPS driver. When I'm driving these little Ivecos with this tiny racing steering wheel, that's the equivalent of being on those little Tonka toy little cars. You know what I mean? Those little kiddie thing. It's just ridiculous, man. But it definitely seems to be a lot more cooler over there than over here, for sure.
Well, I'll just tell a quick story with one, because these newer trucks that we have, I feel like I don't know what they make of them, because if I would have had this truck one time, and I had this happen in my old truck, and then 2 weeks later it got crushed. They got rid of it, and then I got a brand new one, and it, for some reason, and I've mentioned this before, but this one will lose power sometimes on hillsides when it inclines, and it'll just it's like it gives a hard shift. It feels like it would almost be like if you're driving a manual when you stall out, but because it's automatic, it doesn't stall. It just kind of stops and you lose momentum. And I've had to back out of shit before, but one time with my old truck, this was kind of it was still pretty early into COVID. Maybe it was early enough that our volume was still really high, so a lot of us had to work. I had to get forced to work this Saturday because I had taken a sick day and people didn't have DOT hours to work and shit. And so I had my own truck, but I went up this fucking driveway / road. Shout out to Earl of Pearl, one of them 5-mile long driveways, as he would say. And it was gravel, and this was an area I didn't know, and when I hit this thing, I hit it going pretty fast, and like it curved and it went, and it's like a fucking mountain. And the further I'm going, the steeper it is, and the more I'm like looking up, and I'm like, "Fuck!" I'm like committed now. I can't stop. I get so high that I in my mind I have my hand on the seatbelt, because if I stop, I'm so far up that I'm just going to jump out, because that thing's gone. Like there's no sliding back into something. It's gonna. And when I got up to the road, to the house that's there, I get out and my legs are just shaking, like I'm like scared to death. And the guy comes out and he's like, "What the hell are you doing up here?" And I was like, "I've never fucking been here," kind of thing. But if I would have had my old truck, dude, that thing would have been on the news probably. If somebody had a video of that thing flying down a mountain, it'll look terrible. But yeah, that was like 2 weeks before I lost my truck, and I will always be grateful, because that thing went. This new one is good, but like I said, for some reason it'll stall out. And that, I always think of that.
At least that got up a hill. These IV codes are terrible. The one I have one on a rural route. Tom Cruise has got a house around there. It's a place like called Biggin Hill around there. And I remember having this IV code. I'd done a stop, got back in the van, and the windscreen wash went and started coming out, and the window wipers were just going. I'm not even joking. At the same time, the windscreen and the window wipers were just going, and I just sat there. It was like Herbie the Love Bug waving at everyone. Like it was just, and I had to sit there and I had to wait for the windscreen wash to run out, which it was full, because I did it a couple of days prior, and then when the windscreen wash vanished, the window wipers went ooh, and the whole van just died. They're so crap. They're so bad. Like I explained to my mechanic on the phone what happened.
Is it like this?
What the hell is that?
It's not one of those.
That will be better for sure.
This is called like an e-bike or something like that. It says it's in the UK somewhere.
Is that a European thing?
Yeah, it says it's in the UK somewhere.
Fit in that thing, dude.
I can't even fit in that thing. That looks cool though.
That thing would be better right to my chest.
I mean, you can't even have ride-alongs. There's only one seat.
That looks so Italian to me. That looks too Italian.
Maybe. So hold on a second, because I have another one.
Your brands are so much cooler. Your trucks, man, like ours are shocking, man.
Is yours like this?
What's this one? Right. See, you know when I turned around to you and said about the Mercedes P80s and they were amazing but crap? That is what it was. But what they've done with them, they've got rid of all of those. They sent them all to Germany.
Yeah.
And then they distributed them all out to European places and like central London. They've put electric motors in them. Mm-hmm. So we don't have them anymore, but that is what they were before. I love those ones.
I was going to say, they don't look too different from what we're going with.
Yeah, but they've got rid of them all now. But now we have IV codes
right.
now.
Man, that sucks. I see that.
Are you saying IV?
Yeah,
so IV,
then
ECO.
ECO.
IV codes. If you're talking
IV, ECO.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find one of these while we're talking.
Just seeing that Mercedes logo on that thing is cool as shit, because that's a big brand.
Yeah, we don't have them anymore, man. They've all got electric motors in them. They robbed
you guys.
Cool.
They robbed you guys.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so depressing. They're so depressing. I used to love those motors. But yeah, they've all got electric motors in them, and they're all like in central London and stuff like that. But yeah, not cool.
Oh, Iveco?
Iveco. We call them IV codes, but it's probably a
IV codes?
Yeah, we have IV codes.
I got one. Yeah, no, definitely not. This, it looks more like a van.
Have you got?
Than it does like a truck.
You got a picture of this thing? Yeah, I got to see.
Yeah,
this
hold on.
now.
I'm gonna share it right here, but it looks more like a van than it does a truck, though. Like it's got like a van shape. I feel like the entire thing has like a van shape to it. It looks like
it's got a shit shape to it.
A shit shape. So, but like, it just while it's loading in, it doesn't look like you'd be able to fit as many boxes though in the back compared to like the Mercedes one.
Yeah, the Mercedes were massive. Like even like the whole cab was massive. You could do cartwheels and all sorts of shit, and just the cab alone
Right.
Like, but like these Ivecos, and the seats, honestly, they're terrible, man. It's like no, it's not Iveco. No, it's not.
the same company
It's like,
though.
No, yeah, that is Iveco, yeah, and it's probably the same sort of thing inside. But like, there's probably not many pictures of them because we've only had them a few years.
Yeah,
but like,
I mean, this thing looks like it's from the future compared to what we have.
I'm going to tell you right now, vans, though, I hate delivering out of them because of the multiple doors you got to use, and I'm not a van. I've had to use a van one Christmas. I used one, and I had to use one earlier this year. That's not my jam. I don't like to have. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like, though, I think Gary had told me this, but excuse me, are you also required to get signatures at every stop you go to, residential? Like if it's a house stop, do you have to get a signature for every stop still? Because I heard that was a thing too.
I'm gonna say you have to do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say you have to do it. Everybody, listen to me. You have to do that.
Follow the rules.
Follow the rules.
See?
We call it over here. We call it CYA. Cover your ass. That's what we do. Okay, right? That's how we work.
Fuck.
We don't know who's listening to this, but just do what the nice
follow
man
the rules.
just said.
Well,
okay?
this
just
is
follow the rules. That's what we don't cut corners here. We just follow the rules.
You're right. We do not.
Well, I'm going to say compared to that is a major difference in the States because compared to that, they do cut corners. I'll say it because they'll just say now. I've had ride-alongs, man. I'm talking.
Hold on, Luke. Alex, do you guys get ride-alongs with your supervisor?
Yeah, and you have to.
Okay.
What's funny? I shouldn't say it, but UPS have this way of. I don't know if I should say. But to be fair, I'm safe because I'm not in America. But UPS have got what UPS do is they take delivery in a box and they put it in like this fairy story and make it so freaking complicated. But we all do it our way, right? and then when a supervisor comes out for a ride along, you're like, oh shit, because with I'm gonna say, so we've got these do you have a Dicer system? Is it called a Dicer system? Do you know what that is? Have you got that? Basically, you wear this watch. This watch has got a sensor in it. You go to the van and go boop, and then it opens up. You've not got any of that, no?
Oh no!
Holy shit! That's some future stuff. Go ahead.
Right. So yeah, we're supposed to have these watches, and we've got these fobs, and you go up to the van and boop and unlock it. So see, I don't do that as long. So, but when I know I'm going to have to go for a ride out, I'm like, shit. So I have to go and get one of these watch things and these fobs, and I have to relearn while my supervisor's there how I do.
It's newer technology for you guys, right?
I
but
guess so.
But
you're so used to doing it the other way that it's just like.
The
right way.
Well, it's like we all do it. Like we yeah. I love to cut a corner, but
sorry. I didn't mean
we
to
all
put down
do.
on that, but I'm
we
just,
all. Hey, everybody does. Even
We
the
all
out-car
do it.
supervisors do.
I'm just
Even the
gonna say-
supervisors
Yeah, no, they do.
This is-
They freaking
Yes.
do. I heard my supervisor turn around. He found a time delivery really, really late. He called up the other supervisor. Can you put this through? I've delivered it, a little bit earlier. I'm going to
False
put it through
finding
2 hours
records.
after. If we do that, we get a freaking DP. They get away with it. We all cut corners. We all do it. But yeah, when we do have a ride along, I have to remember how to do it their way, and, and it is a bit of a stress. It's a stressful one for sure.
Well, their
Oh,
way
dude. They all do it.
here, I had a 65-inch flat screen TV at these apartments, and they were like, "You're going to just DR that one." This was before pictures. Like we could take pictures and stuff. Now this has been a few years back, and I remember thinking, I was like, you just want to leave this thing out here? It's like one of the apartments where there's like 3 other doors right there, and I'm like, there's no
they're leaving
cameras
TVs outside the door.
Yeah, oh yeah. It was and I'm like, I wouldn't have done that if I was by myself. I just would have.
No. I don't do things like that. No.
But when I went with them, they were like, "You gonna just leave that one?" And I looked. I was like, "Really?"
Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, I was like, "Fuck, man, this. What if it comes up missing?" You know.
This is a conversation I want to ask you both. This is really interesting. So over here, Amazon are taking over, man. Oh, sorry, Amazon. That's what you call it.
Amazon, you can call it whatever you want. Amazon.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah.
It's all good.
But basically, so we have these things. You must have them called you might call it something different. We call them RS tags. RS tags. Do you have those?
We
yes,
do.
return to senders.
Yeah. So is it called the same thing?
Yes, RS tags. Yep.
So every RS tag I get is an Amazon collection.
Mm-hmm.
The majority, I would say
98% of the time.
Oh, 100%.
It's always Amazon.
Yeah. And like a lot of my OCAs, my collections I get sent through to me, I'd say 80% of them is Amazon. So do we understand right now that Amazon are actually paying our wages as UPS drivers? Do we understand that? That is literally happening right now.
Man, it is a hot topic over here, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is a very hot topic over here.
Freaking insane. If we weren't doing this Amazon stuff, I think we'd be a little bit screwed. I did make a comment in a course once. We did this thing called, do you have CPC over there? Is CPC a thing in America, or is it called something different? That 35 hours of training you have to keep up as do you have that over there?
Yeah,
Luke was just talking about some diet or some trainings.
We have something of that nature here. Yeah.
Yeah, we call it CPC. But I mentioned in this course, I said it's only a matter of time that UPS it could keep on the side of the van to say UPS Prime or something on the side of the van. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. But it would never happen that Amazon will buy out UPS. It would never happen because obviously there needs to be. I read an interesting article a couple of years ago, or it might have been a year ago in America for America actually, because you have an airline called. It has by the sounds of things, it has the same reputation as what Ryanair is over here. Have you ever heard of Ryanair?
No.
So Ryanair is an Irish airline. They're really, really popular over here, but they've got a reputation. But Spirit Airlines over there.
Spirit,
yeah. So rough? So
are you talking about like the low budget airlines?
Yeah, the low budget airlines. So Spirit Airlines were struggling about a year ago, and American Airlines was going to buy them, right? And there was a deal that was going to take place where that was genuinely going to happen, but the government stopped it. The reason they stopped it is because your state hopping low budget airlines, if Spirit gets taken away, the only one that's going to be there is Southwest. So there's no competitiveness really. So Southwest take over that sort of, thing. Yeah. So obviously that is another reason why Amazon, just for my audience here, will never buy out UPS. It's never going to happen.
No.
But honestly, guys, Amazon are paying our wages right now. Do you...
I mean, that was because David made we made a point of this a few episodes back because it was said that that Carol Tomei announced that they were going to cut ties with Amazon. When was that? Like by 2026, Dave? Is that right?
Yeah, by next year in 2026, Amazon
and
they're cutting off 10%, I think.
10 or 11%, or is it?
It's like 10,
or does that make up 10 or 11? I forget what the numbers are. But
what do you mean by cut off?
We're not going to handle as many Amazon packages anymore starting next year.
Is that a risk? Because it's so much.
We think that it's going to. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
No, so it's so what I've gathered from different sources, if you will, about this situation is that 10, 11% cutting Amazon packages is not going to make that big of a difference for the company. Because in a way, we're technically, UPS, I believe, is technically losing money because of this.
With Amazon.
Right. So it's the same reason. So it's sort of the same reason why we cut SurePost. You probably don't have SurePost over there.
No.
But over here, we used to deliver to the local post offices.
to the
we would
post
deliver
office, and they would
boxes for
deliver
them,
stuff.
and then they would deliver the package to the customer's house. So Carol cut that out. We are no longer delivering SurePost packages to the post office. So everything the post office would deliver that we would bring them, we are now delivering. UPS is now delivering to the house. And so she's cutting off certain ties, basically. And so it's just, maybe it's just different. Like, because for instance, like over here, Alex,
I'm with
like
you,
there's
Alex. I just want to make that clear. I think I still feel like it is a risk, but go ahead. I just want to make
no,
sure.
but like, but like over here, like there's still certain, like there's a lot of areas. For instance, like the route I'm on right now, my route, Amazon does not go out to that town. Amazon does not deliver out there.
Oh,
like it's
really?
yeah. So my truck's a lot of Amazon packages because Amazon does not go out there. So like Amazon doesn't have the manpower, the facilities, or anything. Like they're not fully, in like all over America right now. I'm sure it's probably different over there. I feel like over there they're probably fucking everywhere. I feel like you could probably see an Amazon truck on like every corner.
It's a lot of people. I don't know if you have it where I would go to somebody's house and I will collect 20, sometimes 40, sometimes more boxes of Amazon stuff, and it will go to. It's obviously like, they're obviously selling stuff from their house, and we are taking it to the Amazon depots,
right?
Where obviously the Amazon drivers will then deliver it themselves. So it's almost like we're the middleman. We don't deliver that. I deliver some Amazon stuff, but it seems to be like we are the middle, and we're doing obviously the majority of the returns. But without Amazon at the minute, I would it must cost a fortune. For like, if I have got 40 boxes going outside my house, like to go into an Amazon hub,
you're picking up 40 boxes from a customer to go back to Amazon.
They're up. I do a route. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sometimes in a 7.5 ton a lorry. I sometimes, because I've got an 18-ton license, and I would go to somebody's house, and I'll pick up nearly 100 boxes outside someone's. From their garage,
shit.
And and all of it is addressed to an Amazon depot, and it will go to an Amazon depot. Obviously, UPS drivers are not delivering that. It's almost like we're like Amazon's bitch. Like we'll get the stock ready for you, and you can deliver it. But honestly, like all of my RS tags, like you said, is about 95% Amazon. But yeah, it just makes me think. How Amazon are paying our freaking wages.
I feel like the volume is going to excuse me, the volume is going to like we've laid off our bottom 5 drivers here, and like 4 of them are working in the warehouse right now, but that won't be permanent. God, sorry, I'm yakking. But
9 a.m.
But yeah, right. That should be the last time. But yeah, I feel like it will cost some. I mean, I don't know how it can't. I don't know enough about this to make an actual, but predict. Like, I just feel like that's still volume lost in certain areas. That's still going to make cost some people some jobs here. Maybe for as Carol Tomei would look at it, for UPS, it might be a good move for them, but I think it is going to cost some driving positions here, and that's just my opinion. We'll find out, but yeah, I feel like they I'm with you, because I've had pickups. We've have every now, we got people that have home businesses like that. There was a pickup I used to have, and I'm not on the route anymore, but it was the same thing. They would have 30, but it would all go through Amazon too, and it. So I get that, and I just I'm nervous, but that's what I mean. It's a hot topic because we posted something about this on TikTok. On our TikTok page, and it got people going. So there's obviously some people who got their opinionated about it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
It's crazy. You've definitely noticed that. You've actually noticed it a lot since COVID. Actually, I'd say. But over the last couple of years, it's really, really increased, and it is something that I called it out a few times. About if Amazon were to not use us for collections, if Amazon weren't to use us for these big pickups, like what's that going to do? Obviously, UPS are freaking minted anyway. We know they are, but it's still like it is definitely an interesting thing how a fellow courier competitor is actually. That we're technically Amazon drivers a little bit. Like,
I mean, why are we picking up their stuff when they're delivering?
You're an Amazon driver just dressed as a UPS guy.
That's it. We're frauds, man. We're frauds.
No wonder why nobody likes you guys over there. No, I'm just
It's so funny
kidding.
because when I've seen a van, because I've seen a couple of them, more of them pop up here recently. When I see them, my body language is so terrible because when I see FedEx or the post office or DHL guys, I'm always like beep, wave, and friendly. And I don't mean to not be, but I'll look at them and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, man, they're coming. I'm like, God, here they come. And I do, like, the first time I saw him, I was like, he didn't have an Amazon van. It was just like a Penske or a rental, some U-Haul, but he came out and he had the uniform on, and it was like that dun 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 moment. I don't even my face had to give it away.
What you're saying is actually right because we don't have Amazon vans over here. No, we do. We're starting to get them. They're in like little vans, whatever. Kind of like the van you showed with the Iveco, a bit like that, but like Mercedes. They're starting to come into in fruition. But like when we have like with DPD, who are like DPD, Parcel Force, DHL, FedEx. When we all see each other. Like, yo, what's up? How you doing? And then when the Amazon guy comes in, we're just like, oh, here we go.
God, that's hilarious.
It's probably a bit like
happens over there too.
It's probably a bit like when Uber came in. Like you could be like a normal taxi driver, cab driver.
Oh yeah.
And then Uber come and take everything. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you don't like it. Probably that same sort of thing, isn't it?
You give it exactly. You like give them the desk there.
Like,
100%.
They're taking over. But what's crazy is like I don't know what it's like with you. Obviously, we call it postcodes. There's obviously zip codes over there. But like I will have, like in all routes that I will have probably 5 postcodes, about 90 stops. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like Amazon DPD, like they will have like 120 stops in one postcode. Like Amazon, like especially, they'll have like 100, 200 stops in one postcode, and I've got 90 or 80 in about 6. That's freaking mental. Amazon are so busy. And like literally, they're driving around, their vans and their cars are all full
zooming up and down.
They got parcels up on the freaking dash and in the.
And they can't drive.
Well, they can't. You can just see them. It's like when you're like first thing in the morning, you're de-icing your car. And then it gets to that little bit of circle in your windscreen, you just look through it and you just drive.
You're like, I'm good.
And that's what it's like as an Amazon driver. You've got parcels everywhere.
It's funny because I feel like all the, like, I mean, obviously, well, there'll be dumb videos of other drivers and companies too, but I feel like a majority of them you see, like Dave just said, you know, of the wrecks or the weird things they're driving. There was one I did a video on where this guy was driving on this sidewalk, or it was along the highway. It was a bike trail along the highway, which, I mean, that's dangerous as shit because that dude was probably he was keeping up with traffic. So it's like, dude, I feel like all the real bad videos you see, or hilarious, however you want to put it. That girl walking out of that van. Remember that video from the high rise?
Oh my God!
That dude, he peeks his head out.
This girl walks out the back of the Amazon van,
barefoot, just walking out
like
of the
fixes
Amazon
herself
van.
And shit, and then like it was taken from like a high rise like building, so it was like
it was like
floors up, and this guy
was
zooms in, and then you see the Amazon guy like stick his head out like. And then shuts the doors and shit. Like, oh fuck.
But one thing I will say is that I feel like my job, I'm very relaxed. I'm walking around delivering like an Amazon driver's like,
yeah, dude.
Like a fucking cartoon.
With us,
Jeff
I'm just
Bezos got him scared shitless, man.
They're running for their lives. It's like there's like a rifle on a high rise, like pointing at them as they're delivering. Like,
don't you fucking stop! Don't you fucking stop!
I would do one stop on a road, and an Amazon driver would do about 5 in the same time because he's sprinting around. Like. So there is that.
They're maniacs.
That for sure. Yeah, that's it.
Man. That's funny.
But yeah, man, it's just a topic that I thought was interesting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
and the fact you guys are having the same thing is very interesting as well.
It is.
Yeah. Like Luke said, it's a hot topic over here. But dude, let's talk about what you've been up to though, outside of the company, outside of UPS here. You just recently launched your own podcast. Please elaborate on that.
So I live. So you American peoples, you have states, right?
Right.
So you have states. But we have these sections, but we don't call them states. We call them counties. So if you look at England,
we have counties too.
Within the states, yeah.
It's like within the state. That's it. But our state is called a county. So
okay, I got you.
So like that. So that's what it's like. So like the state of Pennsylvania, we call that a county. We call it the county of Pennsylvania.
I got you.
But like so, if you look at the map of England, southeast of England, that I'm in the county or state of Kent, Kent. So I got together with one of my friends because I come up with this idea to just to interview local musicians, because I feel like whenever I do like an open mic night or something, and I'm playing, there's so much talent in Kent. Like I literally see it all the time. So I thought there's so many awesome musicians here. Why not like create a podcast to interview them? And that's just basically what we did. It was a video podcast, but it was just really difficult being like adulting and trying to get like everyone in the room together. So I started to do it at home and stuck a couple of microphones on the kitchen table and got them all around. And I literally just interviewed like local artists, and it's just fun. Like I'm making new friends by doing it. I'm
absolutely
busy, literally just chatting away, and like it is like, because like I actually genuinely care, because I'm genuinely interested, because I don't really, as a musician myself, I don't really get inspired by like people in the charts or anything. I get more inspired by my peers, like what they're doing, and that's kind of like I'm like, oh, you wrote that, you did in this, because I see them play all the time and I see their evolution all the time. Like I would see an artist I haven't seen an open mic for like a year, and I can see their improvement. It's really cool to see that. So yeah, it's generally nice to hear everyone's like individual journeys, and it's just fun. It's called and we've got a play on the word continue, so it's Continue Music. That's what it's called.
Nice.
Play on with the yeah, it's honestly it's fun. And yeah, I've recorded series 1. I'm popping that up. But in regards to my own individual music journey, if you've not heard me before on a previous episode, my name's Alex Lane, Lane. All of my friends say Lame, Alex Lame. It's not that. It's really not that. It's Alex Lane. But yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter myself. I'm on Spotify and stuff. If you type that in, you'll see me. I'm jumping with a red background with a white guitar, looking so freaking lame actually. But yeah, I've got
Rockstar.
It's good.
I've got some tunes on Spotify, but yeah, I've just recorded a single of mine called Landing Lights. I'm recording a music video for that on the 26th of April.
Nice.
So I'm gonna probably put out the single, and then maybe a week later the music video for that. But yeah, I've got music videos on YouTube as well if I type my name in and stuff. But yeah, I'm starting to get back into music. I'm heavily inspired. I'm writing a lot more.
It's awesome.
So yeah, like I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the pod. I wrote a book recently as well. I wrote a novel.
Nice.
Wow.
So like, I just generally love writing. Like writing is very therapeutic for me. If I'm not writing a song, I'm trying to write books and pods. I just want to do lots of things.
So I have 2 questions for you. One, spell the podcast again.
So I live in the county or the state of Kent, so K-E-N-T.
Yeah.
For the word continue, it's Kent in you. Continue music.
Continue music. So that's where people can come and find you.
Yeah. Literally, just you search it up on like all of your podcast things. It's actually on YouTube as well, just like the audio of it. But Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music.
Is it also on your profile as well? Your Instagram?
Yeah, it's on my Instagram. It's Alex Lane, ITS Alex Lane, Lane.
Cool.
Not Lame.
And secondly, I was gonna ask you what inspires you to write.
That's a good question, man. I've always been allergic, and I hate the phrase writer's block. I hate it. When someone says I've got writer's block, for me it's just like, no, you're just being lazy, because you can write something.
Right.
So if you can't find something internally, and sometimes like I sit there and there's just nothing going on in my life, so I'm just like, just letting it happen. I'm just existing at this point. But like we're at a day and age where we're consuming stuff all of the time. With your TikToks, your Instagram reels, your Instagram, your TV, whatever. We're consuming content all the freaking time. So are you telling me, like, with all the stuff you're consuming, you can't get inspired by something? You can't. Like, even if it's just a title or a feeling or something, you can write something down and that can progress into a song. But that's where I'm at with writing. Like, generally, I can get inspired by, anything, and we can come up with, I literally like conversations with people, hearing conversations with people, but like hearing like a line on a TV show or something. Like, it's exciting because every day is different. Like, I can get inspired by anything at any time. I'm constantly like reaching out and looking for stuff. But I generally, I don't know where it's come from, but I just love writing stuff. I love creating stuff.
Like, I really wish I can get into that like headspace that like you're talking about, because like for like me, because I mean I don't know if you know, but like I write, I've written UPS parodies before, and like parody songs, and sometimes I will hit that wall when I'm like writing something. Like I'll be on a roll, I'll be rolling, I'll be writing out lines left and right, then all of a sudden it's just like, fuck. It's just like fuck, like, and like literally like I would have to step away from it for like a couple days, and then as soon as I pick it back up again, it's like bam, right back at it. Like, I don't know if I hit like writer's block, like that's like just and like that's exactly what it was to me. Like, I literally just hit a wall, and I was just like, I can't think of anything else right now.
I call it something else. I call it a writer's diversion. So think of your driving
like
a UPS
that. That's a better.
Right.
I like that term better.
It's generally how I see it. Say you're driving a UPS truck, and the same road you go down every day, it's blocked off, and you're diverted elsewhere. I call it a writer's diversion. So if, for example, I am writing a song and I'm like, balls, where do I go from here? I then have to look for some inspiration elsewhere, and like and I find that exciting. Whether I'm just messaging somebody and then something comes up, or I hang out with a friend and something comes up, or watching something. I call it a writer's diversion rather than a writer's block.
That's good. And like I hear that a lot too, where people will literally just like see a color and literally then just be inspired. Like and I don't have that. I feel like I don't have that in me, where like see you see a picture or something that's like like, wow, like that's a beautiful image, and like then like people get inspired. I think
you have to be open-minded with it. When I first started writing songs, like, I mean, my early songs were so shit. but honestly, like, I think I'm so open-minded to it now. Like, I'm just like, right, where can I? Sellotape, and I'm just trying to like, sticky, so that we can stick together. Or, I don't know, it's something, and you can play on a web with sellotape or something. But yeah, just I'm really open-minded about it now. Whereas before I was like nervous to experiment. I mean, I wrote this tragic song the other day called Eco-Friendly Love. It was like, we've got an eco-friendly love, we're green, and it was so shit. But like, it was like,
I love the idea though. The idea is so spot on.
It could become something like we're good for the environment. Oh my god, like we recycle. I don't know, it's so crap. But like, it could become something. But just, I'm really open-minded about it. I think if you want to write, then you have to write. You have to write something. Yeah. And eventually, and on the days where you have a writer's diversion and you don't write as much as you want to, my advice is like to write on a notepad rather than your phone or like an iPad, because on a phone or an iPad you can just delete it and it's gone forever, but on a notepad it's still there. Even if you put a line through it, you can go back to it. And on the days where you're not writing as much, I can guarantee you there is something in that day where you was just not inspired at all. There'll be something that will help you complete something when you're inspired, and you can take it and then finish it off. It's happened to me so many times where like I've taken something. There's a song I wrote called "Don't Want To," and there's a music video for it, and it's on Spotify. And the ending of that song, the instrumental, that chord progression, I wrote years ago when I was actually learning to play guitar. But I was writing this song. I was like, I need to finish this freaking song, but how do I freaking finish it? Like, what do I do? What do I do? And then I ended up remembering this chord progression. I just slot straight in there. So yeah, like even on your uninspired days, those are the days that can actually save you in the future, and it's helped me.
That's a cool way to look at it.
I think I'll just say with as far as the podcast goes and everything, and I'm not saying like I'm any type of expert because I don't listen. I listen to a few, and just from doing a lot of them, I always think of a few things where I always think of like one of the idea. Like, is like, I'll look at certain things like sometimes I'll think it's a genius idea. Dude, that just the name and what you're doing, I think is very spot on because the name of it fits what you're doing to a T of local artist. Two, you're very easy to talk to in your demeanor, and I'm sure in person it's even more so because that's a thing that a lot of people don't, dude. A lot of people don't, and I feel like there's some people. I've told Dave, I'm not going to say his name on here, but I've told Dave there's somebody at my building who I've been friends with for a while. Somebody, I was going to give another clue to who it is, but I'll just leave it be. But I said if I could get them rolling, just like I think. It might be one of the best, funniest episodes we could ever have had. But I said to like, but in the setting of like podcasting, it's different. You know what I mean? And it's still like, so I think like, dude, I'm going to have to listen to some because I feel like, yeah, dude, it's when you release it stuff, it's going to be. I like the idea, and you seem like you'd be excellent at it. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in there.
It's funny because, like, obviously doing podcasting, like, you're right, you can have conversations with people, but you stick a freaking microphone in front of your face and what I've learned so much about it, like, I've had people where they come on and some people you just can't stop them talking. That's amazing. So like I'm just sitting there like, yeah, go on, you keep waffling. That's amazing. Just content. Yeah. But there's some people that are just, because obviously they're not famous or anything, they're not used to this setting or anything. They're very reserved and they're like, oh no, what do I say? What do I do? Right. So then I'm like, oh crap, I've got to step up because otherwise there's no show. So it's you're learning all the time. So you have to be on. Like normally, what I do generally call up the artist. Because obviously none of these people that are on my podcast have got Wikipedia, so like I can't stalk them and do research. Like if like Bryan Adams or John Bon Jovi came on, I've got a rough idea of who you are. Yeah. But like so I give them a call beforehand, and I'll be like, right, what do you want to talk about? Because we've all done like local interviews and stuff, and they've asked the same BS. Like, but what would you love to generally talk about? Like, is there a story? And I do that, and then some people actually have things specifically they want to duck into. But then there's people that have generally, I've called them up and they've gone, Alex, you know what? Let's just have a conversation. And those are the ones where I'm like, oh shit, okay. And if I don't know you, like how the hell we can have a conversation? But but either way, it's fun, and I'm learning all the time. Like, and I'm not saying, do you know what I do? And I'm doing it even now. I say the word like a lot. Like, I don't know if that's a British thing. I've
caught myself saying like, I do the same.
So I listen to myself back and I'm like, stop saying the word like so much. And I always do. I go, really? And because I'm surprised, I stop saying like, really, and interesting. Like that's like, if they're going to do a continuing music podcast bingo, those 3 words would be over in the first 5 freaking minutes. So like, I need to work on my vocabulary and my.
Oh, dude, I get it. Like when I just said it. when we first started this, I'd be in the middle of a conversation or something or a thought, and then I would end that thought with the word anyways. I'm like anyways. And then like people would call me anyways Dave, and then like I got the nickname anyways Dave from our listeners because I'd be anyways, and then we'll move on to like the next thought. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, dude, you pick up these little things that like you do when you listen to your own show, and no, dude, it's wild, wild. I know.
But it's good. It's fun, honestly. And like, and I think like I listen to my own voice. A lot of people generally, everyone when they hear their voice on a recording or something, they cringe like ugh, like because they're not obviously the way we hear our voice is not actually how we sound real life because we're not hearing it properly. Like I learned something like it was a couple of days ago. Like if you do that right up to your ears, that is how you generally sound to everybody else. Like that is how you sound. Like put your hands like that. So, but I think just singing in the microphone, listen to my singing voice. I'm very good at being able to shut off from listening and being like, that's me talking. I don't know how I do it, but I listen to it as like a neutral, and I sit there, I'm like, this dude keeps saying the word like all the time. Like, what are you doing, you dick? And it's me. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, every episode, like when I got to like episode 10 of the 10 episode series, episode 8, sorry, 7 or 8, I started to get into the swing of things where I press record, and I'd be crapping myself, but
like I would leave different notes. Like I would leave little sticky notes like around like my laptop here. And like I'd be like, stop saying this, don't do this, don't do that. And I would look at them every time, like every episode. And I think I honestly think that helped me. I would literally leave sticky notes around like my camera right here, all that. And it would literally help me just remember to be like, don't do this. Don't do this. And I would literally write it, and I'd see it every time we're recording. So it's like fresh in my mind every time I hit record.
There's one thing I always say to myself before I record, obviously because I can edit it, but even when I do things like this, I always say to myself, boy, Alex, don't get cancelled today. Don't get cancelled today. Just don't do it. Like, you know.
Hold on a second. So what are you scared to say?
I don't know.
Don't get
I'm
him
just
canceled,
like,
Dave. Damn.
But it's 2025, dude. It's 2025. People get offended by everything. Like we just need to be. Don't get cancelled today. Don't do it. Just don't. Just be good. Just be a good boy. Don't. Yeah, like, but don't. Do you not worry that sometimes you might say something? I'm not like.
I mean,
you might say, because you can say anything nowadays. Like, you would do like an hour show and you would talk, and I would do an hour podcast with somebody. Talk. But you know, people. There's some sensitive people out there.
I mean,
there are.
Do you see what I mean?
We dabbled in. I mean, we didn't really hear anything because we dabbled into some sensitive topics. Basically, we had an episode kind of after, like, it was right before the election was released or happened. We released it like the day before the election, and it was basically kind of like a message of, you know, to try to just be kind to one another no matter how the outcome works. But, you know, when we were doing that, we were like, man, you know, this might backfire. But it really didn't. I mean, it was like, I feel like you could have, there's just, but this day and age, it's, I would say, I don't know, man. I feel like at this point with us, how we've been recording so long and what we kind of being a comedic podcast, I mean, I've said before, there was probably people at the beginning of this episode when I said, you know, when you asked us about, and when you were on the last time when we laughed about Joe Biden falling up the steps of Air Force One, there's probably people, I mean, when that happened here, people were fucking fighting over that because there was people like, oh, it was an accident. And other people were like, don't make it a big thing. Don't make it. And then other people were like, he can't even walk up fucking steps. He said, well, it became a thing, dude, and people were at it. And then the funny thing about that, and to say it, it's not like, I don't know if you can't say to be canceled because it's a fact to say, he ended up falling a lot more, and one of the funniest things that happened was Joe Rogan. Shout out to Joe and Amy Rogan. Before we took a hiatus from the podcast, and he made a video like an animation of Joe Biden falling off of a bike, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then Joe Biden, like a week
Not even
later,
a week later.
it was like 5 days later, fell off of it, was on a bike ride and fell
It
off.
was unreal.
We were like, what the fuck? How did that happen? And I don't remember how, but I think he made
That
that
was
image
wild.
of Joe Biden falling off the bike because he had fell again. But I don't know.
He added a bike to it, and literally no bullshit.
I'm
A
just
week
saying,
later, he falls off a bike.
At this point, like little things like that, I feel like you can't, like you got to just laugh that shit off. The stuff that would get you canceled is the bad, like if you say, I mean, it's, and obviously if you don't have that in your fucking mind or heart, you don't got to worry about it anyway. So it's, but you're right. Every little thing you say is going to be fucking nitpick, because like I said, because
obviously I've built up this music brand as well. I've built up this music brand for years, and I don't want to say something.
Say something stupid.
And then on a podcast, and I'm not going to listen to that guy's music. He's a dick. But but just quickly before obviously we shoot, but just like I've got to say, like you Americans, like. You're so fun, man. Like that whole election was just amazing. Like it was like a movie playing out in real life. It was over here too.
Was this election was it as crazy as the 2020 election to you over there, or was it wilder?
Election, I was watching it from across the pond, and it was honestly amazing. Like, oh my god, like I just couldn't believe what was going on. Like
the content.
The media over there and everything, it was absolutely mental what was happening.
What did they say over there, like when Trump when he almost got killed, when he got shot, like how was that news received over there?
Well, it was like
put out.
Like Trump. I mean, there was an article that came out, Trump's fallen over. I was like, why would you write that? He's clearly been shot. Like, what the fuck? Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, Trump's fallen down. And, like, I just couldn't believe it. But honestly,
there's a fucking Humpty Dumpty image with Trump's face on it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But, like, what was crazy to me is, like, how he's got shot, right? And he's bleeding, and he's got fight. Amazing. That was so cool, man. That was badass.
I will say,
and 2 weeks later, it was like it never freaking happened. It was like it never happened. It was just gone. I was like, what are you doing? Like,
well, dude, it was kind of the weird thing, I will say, because of how this all went down was like the way I've told Dave this, that's kind of odd, that I don't know, and this isn't a conspiracy. I'm not talking about the shooting or anything. I'm talking about like just with the election, like like Joe Biden was adamant on staying in. Like was very adamant. Never said, wasn't backing down, and then that happened, and it was like 2 days later. Like it was weird. That was what was weird. It was like after that happened, then he was like, "Okay, I'm going to step down," and then it flipped. Like it was so. It was weird.
What
as
was
fuck
crazy?
Over
What
here,
baffled all of us? What baffled all of us is that Kamala Harris was getting trashed as a VP for so long. Like she's useless. And obviously Biden, he obviously got pushed out. He's obviously got pushed out. And then they sit her in. Oh, Kamala Harris is amazing. She's so great. And like it was just crazy to see. Like she's
So that press wise over there, that's what they were saying, and we
were all sitting there like, you were casting her down like 2 weeks ago, and now she's the holy freaking grail, and it was just insane. It was just crazy, but yeah, and then Trump got shot again, didn't he?
I don't know if it was a
warning shot or something. I think
it wasn't like the other one.
Secret Service. Yeah,
it was.
But honestly, it was absolutely insane. I went to Poland. I was flying into Poland on election night, and I said ages ago, someone asked, because I was so like watching everything that was unfolding, someone said to me, obviously political views, what's the point? I'm not American, so I'm just seeing what I'm seeing. Right. Someone came up to me, a few people came up to me and said, like, what do you think is going to happen? I said, Trump's going to win this by a fucking landslide. They were like, no, he's not. No, he's not. It's tight. It's close. I was like, it's not close. And you could tell it wasn't, because you could go on all of the comments and all of the things, and it was like Trump was just getting praise on everything. You go on Twitter, it's like Trump this, Trump that. You click on Trump's tweets or whatever his posts, and he'd get like so much support. And you go on comments, and she gets so much hate. And that's what I was basing it on. It was just like,
but see, I don't know if I didn't really look into it that deep. But see, that's what's weird about algorithms and stuff, because I feel like we didn't see, because I did kind of think it would still be. I didn't think it was going to. I thought it would be close.
I done a lot of my stuff on YouTube as well. Like, I wasn't looking at media. I was looking at general, like, normal everyday people talking about it on YouTube, and it was so clear to me from that Trump was going to win big. And like everyone was like, "There's no way he's going to win big. I think it's either she's going to win or it's going to be him close." I honestly, I put like a tweet up and like a thing like Trump's going to win this major. And I was supposed to land in Krakow in Poland, but we got diverted because it was so foggy. Because Krakow in Poland is like, it's like in a ditch kind of a thing in Poland. It's like deep down in, and there was so much fog, so we got diverted to a place called Wrocław, which was like northwest. It was like 3 hours away, and we had to get this like coach into Krakow 3.5 hours, and it was an election night, and I'm like, everyone's asleep on the coach, and I'm just like refreshing just to see who's winning. I'm just seeing Trump's line get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just like, I'm just like watching it, like, but it was just insane. Honestly, it was so much fun, and thank you so much. Like, it was great.
I'd say you're welcome. No, dude. Well, this is what our whole thing with, like, as far as politics go, like with the podcast and everything, like with the brand like of drivers we have and everybody, we have listeners that are Republicans, we have listeners that are Democrats. So it's like, you know, one way or the other. Like, the thing that I don't like is, and I won't keep going on about it, because I could go on about it forever, but I've always said here, this two-party system is poison.
I was about to say
it makes it just more and more extreme to where, and it's ruining everything.
What's crazy about America is that you generally have red states. You just have the whole presidential election is based on swing states. That's crazy to me. Like, there are states that will literally vote red or blue depending on where they're from, regardless. That's freaking insane. Like, it's crazy. Like, why'd you do that? Like,
listen, man. It's one of those things that it's become
a handful of swing states that settles it. Why is that? Why is that? Why don't you just vote who you think's actually going to help the freaking country?
The democracy, it votes, dude. It just, that's how. I mean, I know it's kind of crazy. There's times where it gets put down. Like when I was a kid, George Bush, Al Gore, they had to recount Florida like fucking 4 times because it was so close. And then there's like, if you look at Ronald Reagan's electoral map in the 80s, like the entire country was red. There was like 3 blue states. One of them was West Virginia in 1980, and it was but it's just, hey, I don't have an explanation. I know.
Did you have was there like neighbors like fighting with each other? Was it really like bad, like especially at the workplace? Like,
well,
people, like,
we can say this. I think we brought this up on those election podcasts because Dave said, and I had the same thing here. Like when you would drive by, like when you would be in housing developments and neighborhoods, and you would see like. One neighbor across the street would have a Trump Vance sign, and then the other neighbor across from them would have a Harris Waltz sign. No. And it's like you almost can just feel the tension. You're like, man, I wonder if like it's true, dude.
Let me tell you, I have a dead end street on my route. There's like 6 houses on there. As soon as you turn onto the street, Trump Vance on the left, Trump Vance on the right. Go down to the next house on the left, Trump Vance. Next house, Harris sign. Next house after that, Trump Vance sign.
Oh no.
Next house further down on the right, Harris sign. Like, I couldn't, like, I would drive down that street around that time of the election stuff, and I'd be like, like you could feel, like I couldn't imagine, like. they must not get along. I would just assume they must not get along because that's the way the fucking world is right now.
A lot of people, though, I feel like a lot of people, though, still do to an extent. There's only one thing.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say with if there's anything that Trump has done for better or worse, he has gotten a lot of people involved in our politics now. And I've said this in 2020. There are people that I know that voted for the first time that are about my age. Smart people. I'm talking fucking doctors and shit. Like, smarter than fucking me. And it was the first election they've ever, or the same in 2016. Rather, it was, I mean, I don't know if it's just, I don't know. Like, we have terms and shit, and it's just, I don't know. In 2028, it's going to be interesting to see.
It's also like
where it's going to go.
I know so much about American politics more than probably English politics because, like, you're right. What he generally has done. You're right what you're saying, but he's also brought American politics like worldwide as well. Like we're genuinely, we're all like kind of looking in like, what's he doing now? What's going on? Honestly, it's so fun. Like, thank you for entertaining us for this whole election.
Oh man, that's funny saying because there'll be people laughing and there'll be people gripping their steering wheels.
I'll be on my taco break, and
it's all good.
I'll be on my taco break, and I'd hear people going, "Have you ever gone to America?"
Dude, I feel like it had to go there because we talked about Biden tripping up because that was what happened when that. But
yeah, because
anyway,
I remember
that was how we started it. So I feel like it had to.
Yeah,
it trickled into it.
Full circle.
It's fine. It, like you said, you're not, and that's unique about having you on though, because it is also because you're not a citizen here. So there's literally, like, as the saying would go here, like, no skin in the game. You see it how you see it. So that's also another, like.
Yeah, like I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm just why would I be? I'm
right.
freaking
an outsider looking in.
I drink tea, man, and whatever. I'm just out here vibing. But
right.
it was just a fascinating. It was really, really fascinating. Like, everyone was just hating on each other. It must have been so toxic back then. But yeah, honestly, it was just really fun to watch. It was really fun to watch these people.
You're welcome.
At each other, and then you see these like videos of people like who just keep stealing the Trump van signs off people, and then people electrocuted it. So when they came on, they start getting electric shocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just, I just thought that would just be amazing. That'd just be amazing. But yeah, no.
Awesome.
The next time we talk, we'll pick. We spoke.
We'll talk in another 4 years when the next election happens.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like I have to say this before we get off, because you asked me before we got on, and you asked had any run-ins with guns or anything, and I said the day before I got married. So I'll tell you that real quick before we go off, because we were going to I was cover driving then, and in this state, like, it varies from different states here, but in this state, guns are pretty popular, and so if you hear gunshots, you're not, like, in certain areas, like where I was at, kind of out in the country, you're not, like, thinking twice about, if you're hearing gunshots, you're just kind of going about your fucking day in the country. But anyway, it was my rehearsal dinner the night before my wedding, and I was flying down this back road trying to get done, because at this point nobody knew the route. The guy was on vacation that I was covering it, and I asked my center manager. He did me a solid. I said, if you can lighten my day up, I would appreciate it. And he did, but there was a certain shit because of the dispatch, and there's certain shit I had to deliver, and it was miles in between stops. So I'm just flying up this road, and not being the normal driver, so to speak, and I get to this place, and it's in the sticks, and old fucking country boy comes fucking out to the side, and he's got a fucking rifle by his.
No.
And I was like, oh shit. In my mind, I'm like, I'm fucking, because I was like, I flew up here like fucking 50 miles an hour. This guy's gonna be pissed. I mean, I'm thinking, but I think it was him that was shooting the gun. And he looks at me, and the normal driver on that route, his name was Joe, and he's like, where's Joe at? I was like, he's all on vacation, man. I'm covering for him. I was like, is this 1694? And he's just got that. He doesn't have it up like by his arm pointing it at me, but he's got it by his fucking hip pointing it at me, hand on the fucking. I'm like, he's paused for like 15 seconds, and he's like, just put it by the garage, and then just turned around and walked away. And I was like, man, I thought, man, I was like, this is the day before my wedding. This fucking Hilljack's about to shoot me right between the fucking eyes.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that was my one. That other than that, I haven't had any like encounters like that. That's my only one. But I wanted to make sure I told you that before we quit recording.
Because we did have a conversation before he came on about like, aren't you ever like scared delivering to these
that was
really,
the time
really rural
I was
places?
scared. Most of the times it's okay, but that time I was pretty nervous.
Because we don't really have that over here, you know. We don't really have that over here. So when you live in these really rural places, and people can go, "Who are you?" Like, bust the cap in your ass. Like we don't have any of that over here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, fuck. Well, Alex, this has been a blast, man. I don't think I've stopped smiling this entire episode, so my cheeks hurt.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming back on, brother, for sure.
No, thanks for having me back,
man.
guys. But yeah, literally, another 4 years.
No, we'll definitely do another one before that. But
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
For sure. So, guys, go follow Alex on Instagram. It's Alex Lane.
It's
right?
Alex Lane, yeah.
It's Alex Lane.
Lane.
It's Alex Lane. And I see you have your Linktree site on there too, the link. So people go head over there and go check out the podcast. Go give him a follow. All right.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, man. No, thank you again.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man, for sure.
Yeah. Listen, everybody, be safe out there. Enjoy your week. If you haven't yet, you can become a Patreon member if you want to support the show. Links in the description of the episode, in the show notes there. Patreon.com/AITDpod. And yeah, guys, Alex, Luke, I'm co-host Dave here. Everybody, we'll see you all next week.
Later, everybody.
Goodbye.